Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the final release version of Sim Update 3 for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Sim Update 3 is almost ready to go live, and it brings a refined, more stable experience with big wins in performance, avionics behavior, and offline functionality. This is not just a polish pass. It includes new fixes based on community beta feedback, updated aircraft logic, and better memory management across both PC and Xbox. Talking about performance and visual enhancements, Sim Update 3 introduces Xbox-specific graphic scalability, giving console players access to settings like ground traffic, airport vehicles, and ambient density, something that used to be PC only. This allows you to free up system resources in less critical areas and dedicate them to where it counts, inside the cockpit. On PC, passive aircraft quality settings now extend to ground AI and multiplayer traffic, which reduces CPU and GPU load in busy areas. Visually, the update also improves cloud rendering, particularly distant cloud behavior. You'll see more defined shapes and more accurate lighting at dawn and dusk, especially when the sun is low on the horizon. These tweaks make the atmosphere look more immersive and realistic during all phases of flight. They also have optimized GPU memory allocation to help avoid stutters on graphics cards with 8 to 12 gigabytes of VRAM, like the RTX 30 Ti and 3080 Ti, which is what I use. The result is smoother flights, fewer visual artifacts, and better frame pacing, particularly in dense areas. Now let's talk about streaming and world loading fixes. So the streaming and terrain rendering, one of the most frustrating bugs in Flight Sim 24 has been the photogrammetry tile pop-in around high-density airports. Sim Update 3 targets this directly by improving how scenery is streamed and loaded around runways and terminal areas. Previously, flying into a busy airport could result in terrain morphing or blurry textures. With this update, terrain around major airports should load more reliably and appear sharper. The photogrammetry tile pop-in issue is finally getting addressed. Asobo has optimized how terrain data is prioritized around runways, terminal areas, gates, and VFR landmarks. The sim now prioritizes loading key airport data to prevent streaming gaps. That means better visual consistency whether you're flying VFR or shooting an ILS. In the most recent beta release, runway and taxiway tiles now load several miles ahead of your arrival. Scenery gaps near photogrammetry boundaries have been patched, and new RAM prefetching logic prevents texture blurring during fast descents into large airports. Another major improvement: you can now install core aircraft and airports locally instead of streaming them every time. This helps reduce load times, ensures more consistent performance, and allows for offline use in critical areas. For users with limited or unstable internet connections, this is a massive win. You can preload the aircraft you fly the most and your favorite departure and arrival airports so that they're always available without buffering or data drops. There's also improved stability when streaming over limited connections, reducing crashes to desktop tied to terrain spikes or broken Bing tiles. In terms of controls and local content, Sim Update 3's new control mapping interface is a huge step forward, especially with native export and import of profiles. Now you can back up your yoke, throttle, or VR profiles with a single click. Preset exporting and importing is now native, which is a huge bonus if you want to switch devices or go to alternate configurations. The local install system for core aircraft and handcrafted airports brings faster boot times, better offline reliability, and no more waiting while you're at the gate loading in. For aircraft and avionics, Sim Update 3 brings improvements to over 50 default aircraft, focusing on flight dynamics, navigation, and autopilot logic. The most noticeable change is improved flight path logic, especially in how the autopilot handles flyover waypoints. This ensures more accurate turn anticipation and transition handling, which is crucial during complex SIDS, STARS, and RNAV approaches. Avionics systems got a significant update as well. The G1000 NXI now offers improved vertical navigation logic, smoother approach mode transitions, and more responsive data entry. The G3000 and 5000 suites received upgraded TAWS logic, more reliable VNAV alerts, and better behavior in terrain-rich environments. Light aircraft pilots will appreciate the updates to the G3X Touch. Autopilot pitch and roll behavior are now more predictable, and wind vector displays have been restyled for better readability. And for those flying legacy aircraft with the GNS 430, 530, or business jets with the Primus Epic 2.0, you'll notice better waypoint tracking, more reliable procedure handling, and persistent settings between flights. Additional fixes for the G1000 NXI include the VNAV now handles top of descent and bottom of climb transitions more reliably, and have added support for user-defined altitude constraints. The G3000, G5000 has gotten a bug fix for intermittent freezes in terrain pages, and the TAWS now recognizes custom scenery meshes. For the G3X Touch, roll mode improvements and support for auto trim when the autopilot is engaged. And for the GNS 430, 530, flight plan entry lag has been resolved, and leg transitions are now visible in the map view. The ATR 42 and 72 got FMC logic tuning and prop condition lever smoothing. All of these upgrades add realism and make IFR flight planning and execution smoother and more reliable. Beta feedback has led to real change in this update. Sim Update 3 fixes several long-standing bugs flagged by users. Live weather sinking failures over water has been resolved. Aircraft yaw instability after a long cruise has been fixed. And auto trim and autopilot misalignment in the G1000 and G3X have been addressed. Xbox Series S users report better frame consistency with world density sliders. PC users see improvements in thread scheduling and fewer long frame spikes on older CPUs. Only a handful of regressions were reported, mostly tied to third-party aircraft, which are being addressed by the respective developers. So Sim Update 3 may not be flashy, but it's one of the most impactful quality of life updates that we've had in Flight Sim 24 thus far. From performance tuning and avionics logic to faster world loading and local installs, Sim Update 3 sets the stage for smoother flying and better system stability. Once this comes out of beta, and it should be within the next few days, is my guess, we are going to have some really nice improvements to Flight Sim 24. Really excited about this. I look forward to hearing what you think. Please put your comments and questions in the comment section below. I hope everybody's doing well, and we'll talk soon.